You know, for years, the story of MicroStrategy was pretty simple. Buy more Bitcoin, and then, well, buy even more. But that story just hit a massive plot twist. Their absolutely epic buying spree has hit the brakes, and hard. So what's really going on? Let's break it all down.
Okay, so let's dive right into the most dramatic change here, the sheer pace of their purchases. And honestly, calling it a slowdown kind of doesn't do it justice. It's more like they've gone from a raging fire hose to a tiny trickle.
I mean, just get a load of these numbers. Not that long ago, we were watching MicroStrategy scoop up tens of thousands of Bitcoin in a single week. At one point, they hit a mind-blowing 55,000. And now, they're averaging just around 200 BTC a week. Wow, that is a night and day difference.
And when you look at it in dollar terms, the shift is just as jarring. We went from seeing these billion-dollar shopping sprees to this. Their most recent purchase was for $22.1 million. Now look, for you and me, that's a ton of money, but in the world of MicroStrategy, that's a massive, massive downshift in spending.
So, how does this sudden slowdown actually fit into their grand strategy? Let's kind of zoom out for a second, because you really need to appreciate the scale of what they've already managed to do.
And this is where it gets really interesting, kind of wild actually. This chart shows a paradox. Even with this dramatic slowdown we're talking about, this year is still on track to be their second biggest investment year for Bitcoin, ever. It just shows you the absolutely insane pedal-to-the-metal pace they were on earlier this year.
And all of that buying has added up to this incredible number. Right now, MicroStrategy controls roughly 3.2% of all Bitcoin in circulation. Just let that sink in for a second. A single publicly traded company holds a major slice of the entire pie. That's a totally unprecedented position to be in.
Which brings us to the billion-dollar question, right? Why pump the brakes now? If they still believe in Bitcoin, what's changed? Well, the answer seems to have less to do with their faith in the asset and everything to do with their ability to get the cash to buy it.
Yep, it really just boils down to this. The financial weather has changed. That easy money they were using to fuel their buying frenzy, it's starting to dry up.
Okay, this slide right here, this is kind of the smoking gun. It shows something called the equity issuance premium. A simple way to think of it is like a hype premium. It's the extra bonus investors were willing to pay for MicroStrategy stock over the actual value of the Bitcoin it held. At its peak, that bonus was a jaw-dropping 208%. Today, it's totally collapsed to just 4%. That massive funding advantage they had, poof, it's basically vanished.
And this just paints the picture even more clearly. You can really see the company's specific pressure here. While Bitcoin itself is down about 16% from its all-time high, MicroStrategy's stock is down a whopping 50%. This kind of suggests that investors are getting a little bit nervous about the company's super leveraged strategy, not just the price of Bitcoin.
But, and this is a really big but, we can't get tunnel vision just looking at the funding pressure. We've got to zoom out one more time to get the whole story, because remember, slowing down is not the same thing as stopping, not by a long shot.
And this is the point you really have to remember. They are still buying. Every single week, they are adding more Bitcoin to their hoard. We saw that latest buy was for 196 Bitcoin, and you can bet we're going to see another announcement right on schedule. The conviction is still there. They're just playing the game on a different scale right now.
And hey, let's not bury the lead here. Despite the shaky stock performance and the funding squeeze, their massive bet on Bitcoin has been an unbelievable success. As of right now, the company is sitting on an unrealized profit of roughly $23.7 billion, with a B. It's just a staggering number that shows how right they've been so far.
So we've seen the dramatic slowdown, we've seen the funding pressure, and we've seen the absolutely incredible profits. What's the big takeaway when you put it all together?
You know, I think this quote just nails it. MicroStrategy is caught in this really fascinating tug of war. Their long-term belief in Bitcoin seems as strong as ever, but the realities of the market are forcing them to change their tactics. The will is definitely there, but the easy way to do it isn't anymore.
And that leaves us with the big cliffhanger, the big question for the future. Is this new, slower, more methodical pace the new normal for them? Or is this just a temporary pause, a moment to catch their breath and reload before they make their next massive move? It's going to be fascinating to watch. Thanks for tuning in.